Okay, thank you very much for joining me this morning, and I'm glad there's so many attending. I wanted to, as it says there, the adventure begins. My interest in submarines has came from going to the Monaco yacht shows, and every time I go, I always bump into, a submarine out in one of the stand. I think, wow, that is something definitely on the bucket list. I haven't been on one yet. I do want to be on one, and a number of times I've been offered to go down and actually see what it's like for myself. So I do want to do that very soon. But here's a showcase for you, and we'll go through some of the details of the U-boat works submarines. So my buttons didn't work there. So Finding Nemo. Nemo's a great name for me because, with all of the different products and, super yachts and other that I look at, I always think, what was that submarine's name? And obviously, naming after that film is a genius, because it helps me. So, that's that small submarine. It's called Nemo. So it's really the entry level for submarines, and it is compact. It can be towed behind a car, and it's only for a pilot and one guest. So it's good enough for taking out on a cruise, and then having two people on it, and obviously making sure that the pilot is well trained, and U-Boat Works does that as well. It's very compact because it's actually designed for that small use. And it reduces the cost as well, so you get that for under $1 million. So I want to just have a look at that in terms of how it looks in the scale of the other submarines that from U-Boat Works, because they've all got different weights, displacements, and different ways of actually in terms of the depth it can go to, and obviously in the number of occupants. So this is Nemo, and that's what it looks like in terms of the towing of it up in the top left. In the middle, you've got in terms of the super yacht, it would fit on the tail at the back, and here in the bottom left, you can see it being taken inside one of the super yachts there. So that's kind of, you can get a scale from that. In terms of weight, it's probably about the size. 2.5 tons is about, my BMW 7 Series is about 2,500 tons as well. So it gives you a size. It's fairly heavy in terms of in terms of its compact size. But in terms of its maneuverability in the water, etc., that's where it comes into its own. So here's how it fits in with the overall U-Boat Works products. As you see at the bottom there, this is the 2-passenger one, 2,500 kilograms in terms of its weight, and a depth of 100 meters. And from there, you go to the right on the super yacht sub, another passenger, so you get a pilot and two on that at 300 meters. And on the left, you've got the Sea Explorers. You can go up to 5 passengers, and obviously the weight's there for being able to see how much it would take to actually move it in and out of the water. But the depth obviously goes up with the Sea Explorer 3, even though it's only a 3 passengers. So the ticks in the boxes here are those that are available for charter. Now that to me is quite exciting, because you can, for the first time, you can actually start to go, without a super yacht. If you're not a super yacht owner, you can actually charter and go around some of the locations in the Mediterranean, and go, quite an adventure. And I'll go into a bit more detail. So those are and obviously the larger ones go right all the way up to 11 passengers. But obviously you've got to look at how the specialist diving. You want to look at how deep you do want to go, and that's where the different. It's not necessarily the larger the number of people. It takes you deeper. It's actually roughly around the crew sub 5. Looks like does the most on the crew sub, and the Sea Researcher is 3,000. It can go to on the Sea Researcher 2. So those are obviously, that's where if you're talking to clients and you're trying to get interest, then you're just exactly what is it you want to use it for, and you have to get down to those specific details before you can actually, recommend a particular model. So here's all the different applications. Obviously, going wreck diving and, when you're on a yacht, in terms of cruise, so there's some, it's a useful additional sort of selling point for the cruise, where you can imagine going on a cruise and you've actually got a submarine there. Even if it's only for a week, they take it on board, they can actually choose to do that. Tourism, obviously, they can have it on the beach and maybe take it out from there. Research, I know that I was on board Octopus, which is Paul Allen's, the late Paul Allen's yacht, and they do a lot of research on Octopus, and they go right down and look at the different coral reefs, etc. So research is obviously another great application. And lastly, cinematography. You get some really amazing footage when you're down there. I've seen some of the footage from U-Boat Works, so that you can see sharks and the different array of life down there. So in terms of chartering a sub, 3 different locations, and it depends on what you or the client wants to go to in terms of my fascination has always been the wrecks, because I'm a fan of boats and yachts. So actually going down and finding out a bit more about the history of the wreck and just how it got there and what it looks like now, that to me is like fascinating. And I know that as I say, Paul Allen did a lot of the looking for wrecks, etc. Additionally, you can actually just do either island hopping in Italy or in Greece, and that again a bit more looking at wrecks and the different reefs, etc., and then what the sea life itself. So in terms of chartering, you'll see there, that's where the pricing starts from. There's a lot of different options to those. So it is a matter of customizing it for clients and making sure that you can get all the different facilities that they want on the day. But roughly starting about €25,000 per day. Now you can, and that's great because you can charter it for a day, and U-Boat Works come along with their crew and they facilitate it for you. So it's all a very useful and exciting adventure. And when it comes to if you had a cruise, you could obviously get guests in and out throughout the day as best you can. So I have brochures available for distribution, and please ask me if you want one of those. The 2 I've got at the moment, which there's lots of brochures I have, but in terms of the ones that are focusing on the charters, there are actually only 2 of the subs that are available for charters, and that's the Super Yacht Sub 3 and the Sea Explorer 3. And obviously that's got, each of them have got 3 occupants, so it's not just the pilot. No, it's not the Nemo, which has only got 2. This one, I've got 3. So obviously the pilot comes with you. You don't have to train up beforehand, and they take you down and they go through the particular location that you've chosen. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining me this morning, and look forward to seeing you the next time.